This is Yuna.
And Hannah.
And welcome back to the fourth episode of our podcast, Express Yourself, or I guess the first episode of 2023.
If you're new here in this podcast, we're going to talk about topics surrounding mental illnesses and mental health in an effort to help those that are struggling to understand that they're not alone and help guide them to reach out for help.
So we started this podcast to educate and spread more awareness on mental illnesses and the importance of mental health. We'll be posting at the end of every month on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. We updated some of our subscriptions, so those are now the current platforms we are posting on.
We'll make sure to update you on upcoming episodes on our social media and our website. So you'll find us on Facebook at Express Yourself Podcast and Instagram at Express Yourself PC. And our website is linked in both of our social medias if you're interested in more information.
Today we will be talking about self-care.
So we talked a little bit about this last week on our catch-up episode, but we're just going to be getting more in depth in this one.
Okay, so let's start off with what self-care really is. The World Health Organization defines self-care as the ability of individuals, families, and communities to promote health, prevent disease, maintain health, and to cope with illness and disability with or without the support of a healthcare provider.
So also let's clear up a common misconception about self-care is that self-care is not being selfish or lazy. It's literally a part of the process of taking care of yourself in order to become better mentally and physically so you can do all the things you need, want, or plan to do.
Yeah, and I feel like people are more familiar with ways to improve your emotional mental health as it's trending, especially within girls, such as like skincare, massages, manicure, pedicures, and makeup. And apparently Hannah can't relate to massages or manicures because she's ticklish. But I mean, I guess so am I.
But something about makeup though, I feel like we really need to emphasize on this just because makeup is obviously very common within girls, but like I think it's also very easy to become reliant onto it. So once you consistently put on makeup, like you're scared of people going like, well, why is she so ugly without it? Like that's probably a thought that some people might have, but in reality, literally no one cares. In like, at least for me and Yuna, we don't think that anyone gets uglier without makeup. It's just like when you have it, your beauty heightens. So like we don't see people with no makeup on one day and think like they're any uglier than say they were a day ago just because they had makeup on that day, you know?
Right, and I feel like there's a big part where you start thinking personally like yourself that you don't feel like pretty without makeup anymore, but that really needs to stop because other people cannot see the difference as much as you do because you're like probably like you see yourself way more than other people do.
Right, but also I think there's like a trend going on TikTok where you like have like a trial period of say like 2 weeks of just not wearing makeup, and a lot of people actually start loving themselves more without makeup just because like after you start putting on makeup you see like a slightly I guess like different version of yourself every single day, but then you get so used to it. So like that trial period, I guess you can say, like really helps if say like you become reliant.
Right, and one of the other examples of like these trends, I guess, is like working out. I don't really have much to say on that because that's not something I do, but maybe Hannah does.
Well, I'm also not that particularly like familiar with it, but I know that like I guess like working out, especially Pilates, is very trending right now. So like you go to these like classes with like instructors and it's like trendy, I guess you can say, but it's very common to work out in order to improve your mental health. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also really important to emphasize that self-care is for everyone. And some people, like especially online, will accuse a guy for being gay, for doing an extensive skincare, or other ways to improve like emotional health. But gender really shouldn't matter when it comes to these things.
Right, but also ways to improve your actual physical health can also be self-care. So because of like social trends, I guess you can say, you hear more about the emotional ways. But physical health improvements for your self-care can also include like vaccines or doctor's appointments, like screenings, taking medications, or even like getting vitamins or your prescriptions that you need.
Yeah, and one really important thing is that you don't need a reason to be able to give yourself some self-care. Like, you just these things are just like necessary to live a healthy life emotionally or just physically, and sometimes you just need a break or a little bit of self-love.
Right, so like sometimes like if you're not really doing well, you don't need an initiative to be like, hey, like because I did well or because like I got a good grade on a test or something like that, then I should take care of myself. No. It should be consistent just so you can, I guess you can say, like improve and become the best version of yourself in order to consistently do those things.
Mhm. And some benefits of self-care in general would be reducing stress and anxiety. So when you just like give your time to relax, you can lift your mood and reduce the impact of like negative feelings around you. And you can also improve your cognitive functions. So like taking time out can improve your focus and concentration. So it'll make you more productive.
And also, it can boost your self-esteem, but like showing yourself some like well-deserved TLC can calm your senses and help you see yourself in, I guess, like a more positive light, right? And obviously, it can also improve your mental health. So prioritizing yourself when times get tough can help you manage mental health issues and prevent them from getting worse.
Okay, so let's talk about some other mental self-care activities we can do. One of this really important one is retail therapy, and I think Hannah has a lot to say on this one.
Okay, so retail therapy is obviously not a very, I guess you can say, like,
Healthy.
or diverse way of coping with things. But what I like to do is I just like to online shop and add things to my cart but not actually buy it, because it still gives me that like sense of gratitude as if I've already bought it, except without all those costs and dollars going down the drain, if you know what I mean.
And I am also assuming that most of the people that are listening to our podcast are like in school or going to school. And I think one of the most important things that you really need for self-care is like sleeping in and like getting a lot of sleep.
I know, like, me and Yuna, we talked before how, like, we didn't really get that much sleep last year, but now I think we've both gotten a lot better with managing our sleep schedule. Like, me in particular, every Saturdays now, like, Friday nights, I just crash, and Saturdays, I wake up super late, and, like, I'm not really productive on Saturdays, but I wake up early on Sundays just to get stuff in, but it's been really helping instead of just, like, stressing myself and being less efficient just because I'm so exhausted, you know?
Yeah, I feel like sleep is really important just in general and also for like your mood. I feel like days that I don't get enough sleep, I'm like more angsty and like just like meaner to people without thinking, just because I'm like so tired and frustrated.
Yeah, but another thing is like drinking things. Like it's like like drinking water or like buying drinks for yourself or for other people, you know, you gotta stay hydrated. But also, like, if that $5 drink from Starbucks or from wherever coffee shop or local cafe that you go to, if that makes you more productive and makes you feel happier, like, why not buy it? Like, maybe that's also coming from like my retail therapy type of head where I just like, I guess, see the effects of things like that more than the cost of it itself.
Yeah,
Right?
sometimes you just need to treat yourself.
Yeah.
And something else is going on walks or working out. Like we just talked about with like working out. That could be healthy. It's just not something for me personally, but going on walks really refreshes you. Just feeling the breeze, like looking seeing the trees.
But
and I guess
like,
like
like if you have a pet too, like you can just go and walk your dog, and
yeah.
you have like a little someone to accompany you with. So
And it's like a win-win for both of you.
or like even giving your pet a bath or like taking a bath yourself.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh,
Bubble baths.
like if you want a really nice bath, I highly suggest like filling your tub up with like super warm water and getting those like nice bath bombs from Lush.
Yeah.
Yes, it's one time, but like it's very, you deserve it. Come on. Like
I can't imagine it, but like it seems very calming.
yeah, like sometimes even though I guess you've gone through so much, you really have to kind of compensate for that by taking care of yourself. So like that also includes eating well. Oh my gosh. Like
Mhm. Oh my god, you have to eat well. Like for me, eating is like one of my only sources of happiness. Like for Hannah, it's retail therapy or whatever. But for me, like eating like foods that I really truly enjoy makes me like really happy and just puts me in like a way better mood.
right, like you only have one life. So like why put yourself through the things that you don't enjoy while you can eat and like do the things you like? Well, obviously not overeat because we've talked about that before and that's definitely an issue that we struggle with sometimes, but like eat the amount of food that you deserve and that your body deserves, you know?
Yeah, for like me and Hannah, whenever we go through any type of stress, we always end up getting like Cane's or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reward, you know? Just to compensate for everything going on. But also what's important is to have a calendar. Oh my gosh. Like it's so important to help you stay organized and it really reduces the stress by so much when you don't have to remember stuff at the top of your head. Like when you have like events going on, like you don't have to just remember them or write them down somewhere. Well, like me and Yuna, we use Google Calendar. Like there's like a specific setting that I know you can set up where it reminds you like 30 minutes or like an hour ahead.
Yeah.
Like you can set up different in increments for yourself, but it's super helpful because then like you don't have to like remember stuff or like forget stuff, you know?
Yeah, and Hannah and I also share a Google Doc. So we have like we put all the stuff that we need to do for the day and stuff like that, and we just keep each other, like just making sure we know what we're doing. And obviously like you don't have to stay consistent, but like whatever is like necessary, it's nice to put on there.
Right, like sometimes I don't go on the Google Doc for like maybe like a week at a time, but like say I have a really busy day and I have like a lot of stuff to do, then I'll put it on there. And it also kind of keeps us in check because both of us can kind of go on there and check what the other person is doing or like how the week plans out. So yeah, it also helps us like make habits because it's almost like pressure. Not necessarily
Not in like a
pressure.
bad way, but it's more
Yeah.
like it's more like reminders. It's like, oh, like I have to do this, I have to floss, I have to
like do all that stuff.
Mhm.
Like it's like kind of a reminder for ourselves, like see like the other person is being productive, so we should also like stick by whatever that we want to do.
And obviously try not to stress like trying to do this. Like you don't have to try and manage your schedules and like stuff to try and like squeeze it in, because obviously that's going to give you more stress. Like whenever you have to, or like only do things whenever like you really need to, but like don't make it to the point where it's like making you more stressed and like disappointed in yourself that you couldn't finish a certain thing.
Right, like especially like self-care is important, but like say like you've had a really rough night and you just don't have time to do your skincare or wash your face or whatever, like then don't do it. Like just whenever is necessary, whenever you can do it. But just know that like some things that we've listed already, like it can really help your like current situation, especially like we relate to it sometimes, so like it can seriously help you, I guess, feel better. Yeah.
Yeah, and to talk onto that. So, as y'all know, it's 2023, it's a new year, and a lot of people are like making New Year's resolutions and stuff. And I definitely made a long list of like goals and stuff like that, but these can be helpful, but they can also like really stress you out by trying to keep them, because like you assume that this is like good for you and like it's self-care, but in reality it's actually like bringing more frustration to yourself and like making you feel more down because you can't follow it. And like
Mhm.
the thing is, I guess for me, I like really want to do certain things to be like more aesthetic or to have my life together,
Yeah,
but
like
trying to keep up with them really like gave me more stress. Like, and it's already been like only 1 month in.
right, and also like another thing about like trends and stuff like that. You know, like the it girl trend or like the clean girl trend.
Oh yeah.
It's just like
I was trying so hard.
right, like oh my gosh, like they do Pilates every day. They go out and they work out and they wear like gym clothes and like they have like a slick back ponytail or whatever. Like they're so productive. Blah blah blah. Like, come on, that's not realistic unless like you, I don't know, like unless you really really have everything under control, which is, I'm assuming not most of us because of the audience we're targeting specifically, but like also making goals for each month and not just the whole year is also like really helpful when it comes to New Year's resolutions. So like don't make them too far to reach and just be realistic. So like depending on what you have each month or what you think that you're going to have, so kind of target whatever those are going to be. Like for my New Year's resolution, I try to keep it pretty realistic. So like, am I really gonna take like an hour out of my day every day, like every morning to stretch and do yoga every morning? Like it's probably not, right? Like I probably want to use that time to catch up on sleep, but whenever I wake up, I can probably take just like 5 minutes to stretch in the morning. But it can still help. Like it like helps like boost my mood and start my day, even if it's just for like 5 minutes, you know?
And just remember, resolutions and stuff are supposed to be good for you and like not make you feel worse. So
Mm-hmm.
don't feel pressured or disappointed or like overwhelmed and drained that you're like you failed this again and you weren't able to follow your resolutions again, because they're resolutions, they're goals. Like you don't have to reach like the specific goal in order to feel that you are actually doing something for yourself.
Mm-hmm. But also like something about my New Year's resolution that was also included was screen time. So like my screen time from last year was really bad, especially because I spent a lot of time like I guess like compensating for all like school and like studying and like practicing that I had to do. So like my screen time was up to like 12 hours sometimes. So like even if it's high though, I want to emphasize that if you're still getting your stuff done, so what? You know, like don't pressure yourself to kind of keep that number down if you become more stressed about it just to keep that number low. Like, is it really self-care to keep that screen time low when you're getting more stressed to keep that screen time low? You know what I mean?
Right. Like, for me, I had like the first like 2-3 weeks of like 2023, my screen time was around like 1 to 2 hours a day, which is really low considering I had like 9, 10 like plus hours every single day, like the whole last year. And for me, I think it like kind of helped to not have a high screen time, because instead of like going on TikTok and stuff, I did things like read books, which was definitely a new thing for me to do. And like listen to podcasts instead of like obviously going on YouTube or like Netflix and stuff. But I feel like having to force myself to do these things that really weren't like entertaining, because like I was trying to read books and listen to podcasts for as an entertainment during my leisure time, but it wasn't entertaining. So I guess it was like kind of like disappointing because there wasn't anything fun to do, and I like all I would do is just like sleep more. So I wasn't necessarily more productive either. So yeah, but if it helped, obviously it's not good to be on your phone like 12 hours a day. Like, but yeah, I feel like you should like come to like meet yourself at a like to the half point or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't force yourself to suddenly go from 10 hours to 1 hour.
Right, like I kind of tried to do that in the very, very beginning of the year, like January 1st and January 2nd. Like in the mornings, instead of like scrolling on TikTok while I literally brush my teeth, I would like listen to music, right? Like those 2 days, I remember my top screen time was like 3, 4 hours of Spotify and Google Docs just because of school and stuff like that. But that did not make me happy at all. Like, I don't know. I guess it's something about like not being able to fulfill like what I was expecting. Like because I was so used to waking up every day in the morning and getting to just scroll and see new stuff on my feed, and then all of a sudden that's gone. It's just, you know?
And one other thing is that just I was so focused on the number rather than trying to be productive myself. So I would literally start watching Netflix on my computer instead of like on my phone or watching YouTube videos on my computer. And I literally I don't know what's going on. And I just try not to be on my phone so much that I wouldn't even go on it to check my grades or like to check Google Docs or anything, like stuff that were even productive because I felt like so pressured to keep my screen time low, but then my like screen time on my Mac just kept going higher and higher.
Yeah, like during that time when Yuna was like doing that thing with her screen time or whatever, like she texted me back. I think like maybe once every couple of days. No, okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but maybe like once every day, and it'd be like 2 words. But so like it's also like the way you put it, I guess. Like if having a lower screen time overall like helps you, then you know what, go ahead and do it. But for us personally, it was just more stress.
I don't know what I was trying to achieve from that, but yeah.
Yeah, but let's talk about ignorance, you know? Like it's not technically self-care, but I feel like it helps contribute to it. So like ignoring the things that don't actually matter or as much as the things you're currently focused on, you know? So obviously if they're still a part of your life or like whatever that is not the priority at the moment, don't completely ghost it and disregard it. But sometimes you have to separate your priorities or your just for your own sanity or health, because I personally had to really like focus on what my priorities were, and in order to like do my best, right? Like if there were things that weren't very important at the moment, like say like I had a project in say like a week that was due, right? Like even though I guess it's kind of procrastination because I haven't started on it, like but if I have a test tomorrow, then I'm gonna focus on that test, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna like make myself more stressed to think about that project and try to do that project too when I have something literally tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like just as we mentioned on like us having like schedules in Google Docs, it's nice to have like a priority pile of like list of things to do and like stuff that you can do like a little bit later, but obviously it's not good to like keep pushing things either because that's leading to procrastination, which is not any better.
Mm-hmm.
But just know that you don't have to stress about something that's like 2 weeks later and something that's like due like tomorrow.
Yeah, like on the Google Docs again, like I have it coordinated in like 3 colors. Like red is for ASAP, and then orange is like in a couple of days, and then yellow is just upcoming or like stuff that I plan on doing. So like the red obviously what I need to prioritize on, but like the other stuff it's still on there. Like it's not like I'm completely ghosting it or just ignoring the stuff that I still need to do. It's just like I need to focus on my priorities. So that way I'm like not more stressed to just like, oh, I need to finish all this on my to-do list. But it's not really like a to-do list. It's more like just kind of like little reminders for myself that like this is what I need to focus on, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode of Express Yourself. We will do our best to create a safe space for everyone here, and we hope that you guys stick around for upcoming episodes we plan on releasing.
Yes, and if you guys aren't familiar with it already, but usually we're drinking like a coffee or something while we're filming. That's just kind of what we've tried to keep up with for the past couple of episodes. But today I'm drinking a matcha latte that I made myself.
Mm-hmm. And I'm actually not drinking a vanilla latte or anything like that. I'm actually drinking a lemon black tea. It's pretty good.
Something like that. But if y'all need suggestions for matcha, oh my gosh, please try the Emma Chamberlain matcha. It's a little bit on the pricier side, but if you spread it out throughout the weeks, it's so much cheaper than just going to Starbucks and getting it.
Well, remember to follow us on our social media and check out our website for more information. We hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night. Stay safe and take care.
Bye.